Welcome back to the local footy show, and a big celebration last Saturday, Benny.
Yes, down at Richmond Central, they celebrated their 30 years of existence. Gee, there's a lot of blokes that stand around a bar and talk and come up with some pretty good ideas, but not many of them come to fruition. But George Paris, that's a different story. He started up a footy club.
Down by the station early in the morning, see the little buffer bellies all in a row.
After a few beers, me and mate Doug Edgerton, we just said, oh, well, why not we start a footy club? And the three main things we talked about is ground, money and players to start a footy club.
And what did you find?
Ground wrote to 9 councils, handwritten letters, none of this computers and Facebook, and we finally got Swinburne Junior Campus. Players, we had enough for one team, just a group of mates. And money, we delivered phone books, white pages, and got $1,400, which is big money back then to help us kick off.
This is actually the 30th season the club's been operating. We have a great tradition of past players and officials luncheon every year. We get people back from all eras and put on a bit of a turn. They all stay for lunch, and then after the game, the Past Players Association hand out best player medals to the seniors, reserves and club 18s for the day. And of course, being the 30th year, this has coincided, so we're booked out and we're overflowing. When everyone gets here, we'll fill the place up and have a good day, reminisce. The club's not having one of its strongest years, but we can still celebrate the fact that we've been going for 30 years and part of the local community.
Fellas, what was it like in the first season of the club?
Oh, pretty dirty, muddy and fun, heaps of fun, just with mates, and yeah, we all got together and played footy together.
How did you get to know about it?
Through George, who I've known for so many years, and just decided to go down and play footy with them.
Yeah, I'm George's brother, and basically he organised a few social games against State Bank those days, and had the old Losers Club, and that plays sort of social games. And he came up with the idea of starting a footy club, and basically needed a ground, money, and players. And he had no problem getting the players, but just needed the other two, and we got together, and it was a really good experience playing in the first season.
What brought you down?
Well, look, I come down the second year the club started, and they were just a great bunch of blokes. But because the club was so new, we all got along well and worked hard together to try and get the club up there. And we had a bit of success in '89, winning the flag and everything. Yeah, just been a great club to be around.
Why did you pick the Richmond jumper?
Richmond Central, I used to go primary school, that was the club named after, and being a mad Richmond supporter, it's a no-brainer.
So they played in amateur football all that time?
Yep, and ironically today we're playing Eltham Turtles, and our first ever practice game in 1987 at Luther College, Croydon, we played Eltham, so a bit of history.
How did that one come about?
Well, I live in Croydon Hills, so it was a ground nearby, so just picked the ground to have a practice game, and Eltham were up for it as well.
You've been playing against Richmond Central from their very first game.
Yeah, I think the history goes back to 87, 89, first pracky match against them. So, no, we've been coming down here to KB Reserve for a long while.
So is this a traditional rivalry?
I think there's a little bit of a rivalry, but nothing too fierce. It's always good at the end of the year.
So you played in the very first game?
Yeah, I did, yes.
And what was it like?
It was fantastic. We to get the club on the ground, mate, it was fantastic. We had some legends of the club who'd been there a long time, like George Paris, that sort of got a team going, and it was fantastic. And I think we lost by about 3-4 goals. But the important thing was we were able to start a team, and today, 30 years down the track, mate, we're still going. Fantastic.
You know, we always say Richmond Central is a country club within the inner city, and you can't really get more inner city than Richmond. And to be able to look at a ground like this, it could be anywhere in Australia, really. It's just a great little place to come down and play footy, and it's so close to town. We get such a great mix of characters, students and backpackers, and all sorts of different people coming down. A lot of Irish people playing footy with us. We've got a great story of a guy a few years ago who came to play football and played in our reserves for about a week before we realised he was a superstar Gaelic football player, and played straight away in the seniors before getting called up to play back in some big game back in Ireland. We never heard from him again. And we've got another player who came down a couple of years ago to play ruckman for us, and he's now been drafted to play college football in America, which is just sensational as a punter. So it's just some of the stories you get around clubs like this, just terrific.
Started in 2007, played for 5 years down here, so ex-league and union sort of player from New South Wales, so the club is really welcoming, and it's been a really positive experience to Melbourne. Most of my best mates from Melbourne have all sort of been met through the club, which has been a really great experience for me.
Was it meant to be just like a game of social footy in the early days?
It was Club 18. We didn't know how far we go, but it's a group of mates, and in our third season we won the flag, and in 1990 we went to F section and started 2 sides, and then we slowly built up for our second flag in 94.
So are you pretty proud of where the club is now?
The club now has got about 14 netball teams. The Club 18s, they played today. Unfortunately, they lost by 2 or 3 goals in the final. And off-field, they've done a terrific job. They've got a lot of good people.
So it's a pretty vibrant place.
Yes, well, look at this. You can't get a park. It's midday. There's Club 18s. There's a luncheon that's booked out. Seniors and reserves to play. And we'll have a lot of the netballers come down and join us at lunchtime. We'll have a look at the game, and we'll get together and have a drink afterwards. So, yeah, the club had a ball recently, had nearly 200 people get along. So socially it's very, very vibrant, very exciting for the young one. A transient community living in Richmond, and a lot of people from country and interstate get involved for 2 or 3 years until they move on. So yeah, it's a very interesting place.
See the station master pull the little handle, chug, chug.
Now with the latest Lido local footy headlines.